Welcome to the viewers for the lecture in the subject structural analysis. Now, in this lecture, we will take up matrix flexibility method by direct approach, or in other words, it is direct flexibility method, because I myself have given lectures in matrix method already, lectures 1 to lectures 11, that is on matrix flexibility method, in which we have followed element approach. There are two different approaches. One is element approach or transformation matrix approach. The second approach is direct approach or system approach. So, this has been incorporated in the recent syllabus. Therefore, matrix method, there are two approaches. So, this is the second approach, right. So, it is direct flexibility method, right. Now, before proceeding, this I have not mentioned earlier. These are the books written by us, book written by us. Structural Analysis Volume 1, Structural Analysis Volume 2. Volume 1 and Volume 2 books were there in the market from 2003-2004 onwards. For many years, up to 2017 revision, it was in the list of textbooks. So, because of the non-availability of the direct flexibility method and direct stiffness method, it has been removed. It was a prescribed textbook under Anna University up to 2016. 17 regulations they have taken, but still students studying under those regulations, still they are using it, right. And other methods are available. Then the third book is Structural Analysis through Short Questions and Answers. So, Structural Analysis through Short Questions and Answers. Short Questions and Answers, so one book. All these three books are by my guide cum senior author, Dr. R. Vaidyanathan, and myself. Also, recently we have written one more book on Structural Analysis Volume 3, in which the strain energy method, slope deflection method and moment distribution method are from Volume 1. But these two new methods, namely direct flexibility approach and direct stiffness approach, has been introduced in this topic to suit the current 2017 regulation syllabus. So, these two methods have been introduced and we have published a new book, Volume 3. So, this is a book by again Dr. Vaidyanathan, myself and Dr. M.I. Abdul Aleem, who is our present head of the department and my favorite old student, right. That's about and all these books, Volume 1, Volume 2, Volume 3, Short Answer, etc., all books are published in Lakshmi Publications, New Delhi. So, this information I wanted to convey to the viewers, right. Now, we will take up the method. So, here we have to discuss the procedure. I will not elaborately discuss the procedure. We will discuss the procedure through a numerical example, because that will take a separate time. So, what we have to do in general is, we have to first find out the degree of static indeterminacy. First, we have to find out the degree of static indeterminacy. Then, we have to find out the primary structure. So, we will elaborately discuss with the numerical example, but still primary unknowns. So, we have to choose the primary structure, for which you have to choose the unknowns, redundants. So, you have to find out the indeterminate forces, indeterminate, we have to choose the indeterminate forces. So then we have to find out the force releases for making the structure statically determinate. You have to find out the force releases. Then we have to choose the corresponding coordinates. Corresponding coordinates you have to choose. Then the redundant structure will be made determinate by removing the redundants. So we have to find out the, or we have to, whatever we choose, we have to remove the redundants. Redundants are to be released. Redundants are to be released. Then bending moment for the statically determinate structure is determined. Bending moment, statically determinate structure is determined, and then bending moment diagram is drawn for the redundants by applying unit value of the redundants one at a time. Then we have to just make use of, we have to follow one sign convention that I will tell you, and we have to find out the deflections, because the basic equation, the compatibility equation is equal to A into F naught is the redundance, F naught is the redundance, then this is U naught minus UIF. This is the compatibility equation. So this is the flexibility matrix consisting of flexibility coefficients. They are in terms of, they are displacement quantities. U naught, these are the final displacements. Final displacements, mostly it will be zeros. Mostly will be zeros, final displacements, or sometimes they will give you the value, a displacement of 6 mm, a rotation of 0.002 radian, like that they will give. If that is given, we have to mention here. We have to mention here. Or generally it will be zeros. Generally it will be zeros. So this is the final displacements or known displacements. And this one is the displacement in the structure along the chosen coordinates. So normally this will be 0 or some known value. If it is not given, we will just normally forget about it, use only this part of the equation, A into F naught equal to minus UIF. This is what we generally use. Suppose if some displacements are given in the problem, then we have to make use of this. Why we are omitting this is, generally it will be consisting of 0 values. If it is given, then we have to make use of this value also. Right. Therefore, this is the compatibility equation. So this is consisting of displacement values. This is also displacement values. So this is the compatibility equation. As we have discussed earlier, for finding out the displacements, we can make use of any other classical methods available. We can make use of conjugate beam method, we can make use of moment area method, we can make use of unit force method. Also there is a method called product, using the product integral. You can get the deflection using product integral table. Actually, in our volume book, the method of using product integral table is given as the main topic. Only in the appendix we have given the problems using conjugate beam method, or problems using strain energy method or unit load method, etc. Because as it is, the table is not permitted. So once if the table is permitted, that method will be more convenient, because see here we are going to find out the deflection. That is our aim. For this, we can make use of any classical method. We can make use of conjugate beam method, double integration method, etc. We are going to use only, we are not going to use any matrix method here. So, when you are ready to use, we are permitted to use any classical method, we can make use of the tables also, but still we are waiting for the permission. Once if it is permitted, we will just go for the product. That will be a more convenient method, product integral, chart or product integral table. It will be very comfortable for use. Anyway, that is about the and that will give you the redundance. On solving this, you can find out the redundance f naught equal to A inverse into UIF. So, this will give you the redundant forces. Namely, suppose if we choose MA and MB as redundants, that will give you the values of MA and MB. Already, for getting the deflection here, we will be using conjugate beam method or some other method for getting the deflection. So, these values are available. All these values are available. You can get. So, for getting this, if you are using conjugate beam method, then we will be drawing the simply supported. We start the method with the simply supported bending moment diagram. Therefore, that simply supported bending moment is already available. So, with these values you can draw the support moment diagram. Superimposing the two, we will get the bending moment diagram. So, this is something about the procedure in general. We will take a numerical example and discuss. That will be much better. I will simply read the problem using the direct flexibility method, right? Flexibility method, direct approach. Find the end moments at A and B for the beam shown in figure. That is, this is the beam, propped cantilever. A 12 meters span. This is A, this is B. And here there is a concentrated load of 30 kilonewton, 30 kilonewton, 8 meters from A and 4 meters from B. So, this is the problem. We will start from a simple problem, then we will take up continuous beams, etc. So, we have to analyze this by direct flexibility method. Right. Now, first we have to find out the degree of static indeterminacy. Now, the degree of static indeterminacy for a beam subjected to only vertical loads is vertical reactions. This we have already discussed number of times. Vertical reactions plus end moments minus 2. When it is subjected to only vertical loads, vertical reactions, there are two vertical reactions, one at A and the other at B. Two vertical reactions plus one end moment at A. At support A, there is an end moment minus 2 equal to 1. So, the structure is statically indeterminate to 1 degree. Right. Now, we have to choose the redundant. For making the structure statically determinate, we have to choose the redundant. That is the structure can be made statically determinate by making it as a cantilever or by retaining this support and introducing a hinge at A, so that the moment carrying capacity is released. So this becomes a simply supported beam. And other methods are also there. We can just retain the moment and we can allow the vertical displacement. So this is also possible. Here it is a cantilever, here it is a simply supported beam, here one reaction component here we retain the moment component, but this is released. Therefore, we are treating RA as the redundant. So here we are treating MA as redundant. So here we are treating RB as redundant. So like this, there are number of ways of making a structure statically determined. Any acceptable system, it's okay, right? So we have to. So this is the redundant, right? Now in our case, let us say there is only 1 degree of redundancy. So we will remove the moment carrying capacity. That is, you retain this support, and this is the fixed support that is given. What we do is we introduce a hinge at the point A. To make the structure statically determinate. That means our redundant is MA. MA is the redundant. So we have removed MA and you just replace the same. So this is the primary structure. Primary structure is a statically determinate structure. Primary structure with that of the redundant. So this is the given structure. This is the primary structure or statically determinate structure with redundant, right? So that is the primary structure. Now after getting this, we have to write down the compatibility equation. So the compatibility equation is A is the flexibility matrix into F naught, the redundant force, is equal to, now no initial values are given for the displacement, and finally when you treat MA, the corresponding displacement is that of the rotation theta. Theta A is the corresponding displacement, right? For support A in the given figure, theta A equal to 0. So finally theta A equal to 0. So when theta A equal to 0 or when theta A is not given, you can forget about the second term, forget about the first term and straight away write down the second term, that is equal to UIF. U naught term we are just ignoring. First term, there is a first term that we are ignoring, therefore this minus sign we are retaining, right? A into F naught equal to minus UI, right? Now the degree of static indeterminacy is 1, SI equal to 1. Therefore, the size of the flexibility matrix is 1 by 1, because the degree of static indeterminacy decides the size of the flexibility matrix, right? Now already we have just introduced the hinge here. we have made the structure primary, etc. Now we have to find out the values of A and UIF. UIF is the displacement due to the given system of force in the primary structure. So this is the primary structure, this is the loading. So due to this loading on the primary structure, what is the displacement along the coordinate? So this is coordinate actually, this MA is the coordinate actually, this is coordinate, right. Now in the primary structure, we just make use of the conjugate beam method for getting the displacement UIF. Now this is the beam that you are going to deal with. It is a simply supported beam now, simply supported. So for a simply supported beam, the conjugate beam also is a simply supported beam. Therefore the conjugate beam, before drawing the conjugate beam, let us draw the bending moment diagram for this. So the bending moment diagram for this will be a triangle having a maximum ordinate of WAB by L. This value is WAB by L. So WAB by L is 30, A is 8 meters, B is 4 meters, by L is 12 meters. So 30 into 8 into 4 by 12 is 80 kilonewton meter. 80 kilonewton meter, because this and this will become 3, this and this will become 10, 10 into 8 equal to 80 kilonewton meter. So this is the bending moment diagram. This is the bending moment diagram on the primary structure due to the given load system. Right. Now the conjugate beam will have to be loaded with the M by EI diagram of the original. So this is the M diagram. This is the M by EI diagram. The conjugate beam is also a simply supported beam. So this conjugate beam is loaded with the M by EI diagram of the given beam. So this is downward sagging moment. Right. Now here what we want is the displacement theta at the point A. We want the value of theta at the point A. Right. For getting theta A in the given beam, what we do is we load the conjugate beam by the M by EI diagram, and find out the shear force at A. The shear force at A, or you can call it as A dash, because already we have used A and B here. Let us use A dash and B dash. So R A dash, find out the value of R A dash and R B dash. So whatever is the value of R A, that is the shear force at A. So the relation between the given beam and the conjugate beam is the shear force at any section of the conjugate beam. So conjugate beam, conjugate beam loaded with the M by EI diagram of the given beam. Conjugate beam loaded with the M by EI diagram of the given beam. Right. Now we have to find out the value of RA dash. So that will give you the shear force at A. So the relation between the conjugate beam and real beam is, given beam is, the shear force at any section of the conjugate beam will give the slope at the corresponding section of the given beam. Therefore, we have to find out the slope at A, we will find out the shear force at A dash. Shear force at A dash. The shear force at A dash will give theta at A. Right. Now, for getting this, we have to find out the reaction RA. So, for getting the value of RA, taking moment about B, taking moments about B dash, RA dash into 12 meters minus, we will just we can deal as a total triangle for which there is a formula. Let us conveniently just divide this into two triangles. Instead of using the total triangle, let us use this as two triangles. So, this is 4 meters, 8 meters, right. Therefore, it is half into 4 into 80 by EI is the area of the triangle. So, we are finding out the moment about B. So, its moment about B dash will be 2/3 of 4 meters. So, its center of gravity will be at 2/3 from the point B, right, minus for the other triangle half into 8 into 80 by EI. So, that is the total load into. So, this will be acting at 1/3 from this point. 1/3 from this point will be 4 plus 1/3 of 8. 4, that is 4 plus 1/3 of 8, that is center of gravity, 1/3 of 8 is equal to 0. You have taken all the forces. So, triangular forces, etc. That will give you the value of RA. On solving this, we will get the value of RA equal to 640 by 3A. RA dash equal to 640 by 3EI on solving this. So, this is equal to theta A. So, this is the shear force at A dash of the conjugate beam, that is the slope at A of the given beam, that is the displacement along the coordinate. The displacement along the coordinate is theta A. Theta A is equal to. So, this is equal to the right hand side of the matrix, that is equal to U1F. So, we have got the right hand side of the matrix, because statically indeterminate 1 degree, therefore, U will be consisting of one value, A will also be consisting of one value. So, this is due to the given external load. So, this is the displacement along the coordinate due to the given load system on the primary structure. So, that is one part of the problem. Right hand side is over, right. Now we have to find out the A matrix. A matrix, it is again a matrix of displacements only. So, for which we do not know the value of the redundant, F naught is not known. So, we apply F naught equal to unity. We apply F naught equal to unity along the coordinate and find out the displacement, right. When you apply, that is unit force along the coordinate, unit redundant force, because that value is not known. We apply unit redundant force along the coordinate. As we have discussed, coordinates are points and the directions in which you want to apply the force, measure the displacement, or apply a displacement, measure the corresponding force. Right. So, this is the coordinate. We have chosen this as the coordinate. Right. Right. Now, when this is applied, we have to find out again theta A, by for which you have to again draw the conjugate beam. So, for this also the conjugate beam is a simply supported beam. When you apply unity here, so the conjugate beam, this is the conjugate beam, simply supported beam. Let us call this as A2 dash, B2 dash, B2 dash. Now, we have applied F naught equal to unity here. We have applied a moment, the force is moment. So, here the moment here will be unity, So, this is 1 and here it will be 0, It is a straight line, it is a straight line, it is not looking like a straight line. So, of course, approximately, yes, this is the moment loading diagram. The bending moment diagram is a triangle varying from 1 to 0, therefore, this is A2 dash. So, this M by EI diagram, the conjugate beam will have to be loaded with the M by EI diagram, M equal to unity, therefore, M by EI equal to 1 by EI. Conjugate beam is loaded with the M by EI diagram of the given beam. Now, we want the displacement. So, the displacement here will be the displacement at coordinate 1 due to unit force along coordinate 1. This is the definition for the flexibility coefficient. So, displacement along coordinate 1 due to unit force along coordinate 1. Therefore, A equal to, there is only one value here. A will be again the slope, because the coordinate is this. Therefore, again we are calculating only the displacement, namely the slope. So, the slope here will be given by the shear force at the corresponding section of the conjugate beam. So, the shear force at the corresponding section of the conjugate beam RA2 dash into 12 meters, the distance is 12 meters minus half into, we are taking moment about B2 dash. So, taking moment about moments about B2 dash minus half into 12 meters into ordinate is 1 by EI, half into 12 into 1 by. So, this is the total load that will be acting when we take moment about B2 dash, that will be acting at 2/3 of 12 into 2 by 3 from B, 2/3 of 12. So, into 2/3 of 12. So, that is this is the only reaction, this is the only force, is equal to 0. So, that will give you the value of RA2 dash equal to 4 by EI. So, this 4 by EI is theta A2 dash in the given beam. Now, this is the flexibility matrix. It is of size 1 by 1. So, the flexibility coefficient means, so it is the displacement at the coordinate 1 due to unit. So, we have applied unit force along coordinate 1. The corresponding thing is rotation. So, we are just getting from the conjugate beam, we are getting the shear force. The shear force here will give you the rotation at A of the given beam. Therefore, A equal to 4 by EI. This value of A equal to 4 by EI. So, this is the second term. So, these are the two important terms that we will have to find out, for which, as I told, can use any classical method or using the product integral chart once if it is allowed. So, till then we have to just wait. So, we know A into F naught equal to minus U1F and A equal to 4 by EI, just now we have got it. F naught is the redundant equal to minus of UIF, just we have got it already, 640 by 3 EI equal to 640 by 3 EI. Therefore, F naught equal to, so there is only one term, therefore, when the inverse of this when it goes to the right hand side, because right hand side we want A inverse when it goes to the right hand side. So, A inverse will be minus of EI by 4. A inverse will be EI by 4 into 640 by 3 EI. So, EI will get cancelled. So, F naught equal to minus 53.33 minus 53.33 kilonewton meter. So, this is our F naught. F naught or this is our MA. MA we have treated as redundant. Therefore, MA equal to minus of 53.33. So, coming to the plotting of the bending moment diagram also, we have to follow a particular sign convention, that is sagging means positive, hogging means negative. So, when the tension is at the bottom, it is positive, tension is at the top, it is negative. Therefore, MA equal to 53.33. Therefore, when it is minus, tension is at the bottom, top. So, this is 53.33. So, this is our support moment diagram, 53.33 kilonewton meter and 53.33 kilonewton meter. So, and already we have got the value of the simply support moment diagram is a triangle having a maximum ordinate of 80. So, this is 80. Kilonewton meter. This is minus, this is plus. So, we have to superimpose the support moment diagram and that of the simply supported bending moment diagram to get the final bending moment diagram. So, this is the bending moment diagram. So, this completes one problem, propped cantilever subjected to a non-central load. So, now, similarly, we have to analyze continuous beams. Suppose the degree of indeterminacy of the structure is 1. Suppose if we take a continuous beam like this, if the degree of indeterminacy of the structure is 1, like this, like this. Suppose if it is loaded with UDL and this is loaded with some concentrated load. So, here also the procedure is A into F equal to minus of U1F. So, here also the static indeterminacy is 1. So, we can remove any one support, make it as a statically determinate structure, so we can retain this support and remove the support here. That will become a simply supported beam. That is a statically determinate structure. So, here RB is the redundant. That redundant will be RB and the corresponding displacement will be settlement, y upwards or y downwards. That is the settlement. So, this is the redundant. The corresponding displacement is y. It is not theta. Or we can retain the support A, B and C. A, B and C. We can introduce a hinge at the support. We can introduce a hinge at the point B, so that the beam can be analyzed as two simply supported beams, AB and BC, and that is also, in which case the moment MB is the redundant. So, similarly, we can remove support A alone, we can remove support C alone. There are number of ways of making the structure statically determinate. So, this we will discuss as next problem, right. So, thank you for your patience. Thank you.